Get everyone, be Asian Dad here. Hope you guys are doing very well over here. Starting to get heated up a bit, but we can deal with that a little bit later. Today we're going to do the review of this Lenovo ThinkCentre M70s. Now this is a small form factor enterprise or business orientated desktop computer, and you will see these probably more than likely in a lot of businesses. So this computer here, you can either pop it like what I've done horizontally, and you can then pop a monitor on top of it to try and keep less desk space as possible, or you can pop it up on the side and have it next to a monitor like this. That's another way to do it as well. Anyway, let's slowly get through to this. Now I will be looking at the internals and doing a teardown of this computer later in the video, so be sure to check that out. And I will also be putting timestamps along this video so you can actually skip to the sections that you'll be interested in. I'll also be looking at the temperature and also the performance of this computer and also the sound of this computer as well. Looking at the ports at the front, starting on the right hand side, we've got the power button. After that, we've got the hard drive activity light, and then after that is the microphone jack as well as the headphone jack as well. And on top of that is the media card reader slot. At the moment, this one hasn't got it optioned in. And after that is a USB-C port, and that is USB 3.2 Gen 1, and it also supports up to 15 watt of charging. After that is two USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports, and then another two USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports. Looking at the rear of the computer, starting on the top left, we've got the Kensington lock slot. On the right of that, we've got the padlock loop. And then looking back on the bottom left, we've got the audio out. Then we've got two full-size display ports and a HDMI port. And then on the right of that, we've got a serial COM port, which is 9-pin. And then we've got RJ45 for Ethernet. And then we've got four USB version 2.0. And this one's got the Wi-Fi optioned in, so you see the antenna and of course the power socket. Now the build construction of this computer is pretty much, it's all aluminium all the way through. It's got a fair bit of aluminium, and what I really like about this computer is all the edges are curved or rounded, so there's no really sharp edges here, which is fantastic. Even on the back here as well, that's no any sharp edges at all. So I really like this computer because if you're going to be working on it or even just get close to the computer, you're not going to scratch yourself, harm yourself from these sharp edges at all. So this one doesn't have those sharp edges, which is great. I like that about this M70s. Now this computer also is toolless as well, so it's very easy to work on, especially for the IT department. There are built-in speakers in the M70s. Now when I tested out the maximum volume of the speakers in this M70s, it managed to peak at 72 decibels, so it's not really loud at all. And as for the sound quality, I would probably say it's very basic. There is no bass, it's pretty much just mid all the way through, and it's pretty quiet as well too, but it's got some sound if you just emergency need it. But I would definitely be wearing some headphones or earphones to this computer here, which you've got the headphone jack around both front and back as well. As for the temperatures and fan noise of this computer here, when I put this computer on load, where the actual hottest area is located near the top left of the computer, which is unsurprising because that's where the processor sits, and that's also where the fan sits as well. First off, my ambient temperature was 21 degrees Celsius when I took these measurements. So I did the base measurement when the computer was on idle, and the maximum temperature it read at 25.5 degrees Celsius, and the fan noise was at 31 decibels, and the processor core temperature was 28 degrees Celsius. And then I put the computer on 20% load, and the maximum temperature read at 26.5 degrees Celsius on the outside, and the fan noise was 32 decibels, so the fan has barely spun up much, and the processor core was at 31.5 degrees Celsius. Then I put the computer on 50% load, and the maximum temperature read on the outside of the computer was 29.5 degrees Celsius, and the fan noise was at 32 decibels at its max, which is still very quiet for 50% load. And the processor core temperature was at 42 degrees Celsius. And then I put the computer at 100% load, and the maximum temperature on the case was 33 degrees Celsius, and the fan noise was at a maximum of 40 decibels. So it has spun up, but it's actually not an annoying sound at all. And the processor core temperature was at 66 degrees Celsius. Now this is the i5 version I've got here. I also did a measurement of the bottom of the case, and its maximum temperature down there was at 35.5 degrees Celsius. And of course the fan noise was at 40 decibels as well. As you can see, this computer is running really cool, and also this computer is running very quietly as well too, most of the way through. So you're doing productivity work as well as most works actually, until you really push this computer to its max. And even then, even at 40 decibels, that's not really that loud considering a desktop computer here. So this is really good design for business to keep this volume loud. Now this is using the Lenovo default power management profile, and I've got to say I'm pretty impressed by its heat management as well as its fan noise there. So let's test out the performance of this computer and how the thermals work with this computer as well. So this computer's been running on 100% load for nearly 3 hours, and this one's configured with an i5 10500 processor, which has a base clock speed of 3.1 gigahertz. Now I've got the processor, RAM, and also the hard disk running on load, and this is the cycle we can kind of see. It's pretty much anywhere between 4 gigahertz to about 4.2 gigahertz, and that's the cycle go between every 5 to 10 seconds. You'll see it just drops down to about 4 gigahertz, but most of the time we'll try and set it at about 4.2, which is really decent. Let's have a look at the internals. Now to get to the internals and make sure the computer is laying flat on its side, you will have the rubber feet on the bottom end, and to remove the top cover or the side cover, it's a matter of removing these to unscrew these thumb screws, which means this is going to be toolless, which is fantastic. So once those are removed, now to actually remove the cover, it's a matter of pulling this cover backwards to the rear, or you can push it as well. So I'm just going to pull it, and then after that just lift it upwards. It's very easy to do that. Now this particular unit, we can see from the power supply, it is configured with a 180 watt power supply. You can configure up to 380 watt power supply for a more powerful configuration. And straight away you can see here is a fan with heatsink for the processor, and we can see the coin battery right down there. And then we've got one slot of PCIe, and this is 16 times, and then this is blanked out, but that is a PCIe 1 time. And then this one I've got here, which is a very small one, is a PCIe 4 times. And now to actually get to the RAM and other parts of it, we need to actually remove the front part of it. So I'm just going to turn this around to make things easy to see. So I'm just going to turn this around here. And now all you need to do is lift these 3 tabs up. Just lift them up. It'll just very quickly pull that out, and then push it forward, and then you can pretty much pull that off completely. Now to remove the DVD, it's just a matter of disconnecting the SATA and the power, and then all you need to do is push this towards the bottom of the computer, and then you can just push it forward. After that, whoops, and that flies out pretty quickly. As you can see, we need to actually get this component out, and that's a matter of lifting this little tab underneath here. You just lift it upwards towards, probably need to pinch it, and then after that you should be able to lift this whole thing upwards, and then you should be able to take this out completely. As you can see, we've got a bit of cables hanging together. So I'll just take this out. As you can see from here, there is space for a 3.5 inch hard drive, and this is the caddy for it. And in order to get the caddy out, just pretty much push this caddy towards this section, and you better get this caddy out. I'll just leave this in here, and down here is where you actually put the 2.5 inch hard drive if you wish to put that in, and you'll just reroute the cables through here, the SATA and the power as well too. So underneath here, we'll just have a look. We can see straight away 4 DIMM slots. Now this computer can support up to 128 gigs of RAM. That's right, 128 gigs of RAM. It's quite ridiculous, but it can do that. And this one's only configured with 16 gigs of RAM at the moment, but we can see down here we've got 3 SATA headers. So that's where you can actually put the other 2 hard drives. At the moment, one's being used by the DVD drive, of course. And then we've got the M.2 SSD hard drive here, and right above that is the Wi-Fi card, you can see. And that's pretty much about all there is. Now, what this computer can be configured with. For the processor wise, you can actually get a Pentium Gold or a Celeron for this computer here. Now, I would probably advise to stay away from those two processors unless you've got a task that's really low end and doesn't really take much work at all, and then go for those processors there just to save some costs. But else, you can actually get an i3, an i5, i7, and an i9. Now, that is using the Intel Core 10th generation processor there. Now, as for the RAM wise, it can do a maximum of 128 gigs, and that's over 4 DIMM slots as well. Now, as for the hard drive space storage wise, it has space for a 2.5-inch hard drive as well as a 3.5-inch hard drive at the exact same time, and also a M.2 format SSD if you want to put that in there, which you more than likely would. Now, as for the graphics wise, of course, it's got integrated graphics, but you can also have it configured with AMD Radeon 520 as well. I did run the benchmarks for this particular computer here. Now, this one is configured with an i5-10500 processor with 16 gigs of RAM and 512 SSD hard drive in here, and it is using integrated graphics. So I'll put up the scores for the pass mark, Citybench R15 and R20, 3D Mark, PC Mark 10, Crystal Disk Mark, and Spec View Pref. If you find this video informative or enjoyed it, or just to support my channel, smack that like. And also, if you haven't done already, subscribe my channel by hitting the subscribe button on the screen. I do try to upload a new video every week. And just remember, imperfections in life makes it beautiful and interesting. I'll see you next video.